All right, so with our handsome Mr. Bodie, he's like, but I would really like some more snacks. Go find them. So you guys were just mentioning this morning that you did try the longer training lead, and it seemed to work really well. So it's been a big game changer. So that's very exciting. So with Mr. B, I'm just warming up with a couple little find-its like usual, get them up and wiggling. And then maybe we'll dive into a little bit of some loose leash walking. Everybody's been very in love with this lovely ball over here. So it's very popular. Ready? Find it. So I know I was just doing some work with Miss Phoenix, and she and Mr. B have met a few times through the fence. He's interested, but very gentle and soft around her. She kind of looks at him and then is kind of like, meh, and then she like walks the opposite direction or gets a little bit unsure. So I know we discussed a little bit what we're going to dive into for Miss P and see what might be potentially some good options, or just see how she's going to progress over the next 2 weeks as well. So with Mr. B right here, he's doing a real nice job doing some of these gorgeous find-its. So from here, we might do a little bit with that little check-in. Nice, great job, sir. So I want to go working into a little bit with maybe some of our loose leash walk-in. So ready, sir? So when working this, I would recommend to practice this on gear, off gear, as well as on that longer training lead as well. So I'm just going to move the ball because that could be, he's like, no, I'd love to play with him. So because the longer training lead could be a really great venue to rotate between sniffy walks, getting a little bit more of that ability to move at his gait and his natural, way of motion, and then rotate through that with some more focused sort of next to your side practice of loose leash walking. And again, it doesn't have to be so pristine or so fancy like heel work. But I know for Mr. B, obviously being able to come back in, check in from excitement or distraction moments, this is where having your puppy be able to be by the side and more attentive to you is really beneficial. I would sometimes throughout the practice send him away, give him a little breather, and then see if he can come back and reorient back to you. Nice, ready? Good job. So this way you can start to practice, eventually maybe he might be dragging a long line or working some off-leash work in a safe zone to do so. Oh, he says, I dropped it. I would also highly recommend for another great place to go practice. I know he is going to hopefully be joining the advanced field trips class. Explore and learn. There we go. But I know he can only make certain dates of that program. Ready, find it? So I will keep you guys updated. As of right now, I think there's one other puppy registered. So we have Teddy as well, who's joined. And then I did hear from another one of my previous students who may be joining potentially. Excuse me. So I would love to have 3 that can go all the time. And then if Mr. B is going to be like more the drop-in puppy, then that would be fine. Nice. Good job. So, but if for some reason I don't get enough enrollment for the starting point of that class, I may push it out a week just to allow for potential some more pups and their families to join. Nice job, sir. Oh my goodness, we dropped our snacks again. Ready? We'll do another little find it. He's doing a very nice job. Bodie, here. So maybe we'll work a little bit with those lovely recalls. I know there's a few crumbs on the floor. Somebody didn't want to eat their teeny crumbs. Nice. I think it was from a previous class. Looks like a little bit of teeny weeny little maybe cheese tidbits. Bodie. Oh, we gotta have a drink. Hold up. Water break. What a good job. Ready? Here. He's like, oh, there's the snack he lost. Good job. Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, we can always find your trail if you ever go missing. We'll just look for the swampy face drips. Ready? Bodie, here? Yes, what a good job. Oh my goodness, chewing. Smart man, though. Good job. Ready? We'll do another little find it. He's been doing great, too, in the structured play class, like usual. But I feel like my mic, don't want to be bonking into it, making funny noises. I always worry because sometimes it gets staticky and I have no idea why. So fingers crossed it's still in a good spot. So ready? So obviously right here, oh, he was thinking maybe we're going to keep going. Oh, that's very nice. Good decision making. So we're going to see if we can rock a little bit with maybe some sit or down weights and then work those recalls again. So we're going to tell him to wait. He's like, oh, I might as well get comfortable. There we go. And even if we're doing weights versus stays, we're still going to be working on that concept of generalizing the skills. So that's going to consist of getting your puppy comfortable with, again, those 3 Ds. So your duration, maybe your distraction level, your distances. So like right now, Mr. B is doing a real nice job. I might go ahead and say, Bodie, here. Yes, nice job. So I'm going to give him a couple little bonus bits because I like those little hearts. Those are nice because they're itty bitties. Good job. So then we might go ahead and we'll set him back up once more. We'll do another little sitter down. Ready? So if, let's say that's your saliva, right? We'll get a little down from him. So I'm going to tell him again to wait and see if he can rock it for a few moments. So if, let's say, he was really struggling, just like we've discussed with previous, oh my goodness, chewing, with previous videos on how his comfort range might be for the day. I know we dived into, like with Miss P, and how if your dog is not feeling comfortable, then learning and progression may not go as smoothly or as quickly as we were hoping. Also, since they are part of the learning process, this concept of just doing training to a dog to resolve something, it doesn't work as well as we would hope because of the fact that we have to understand where they're coming from as well as an individual. So seeing where your dog struggles, where they're doing really well, what things might motivate them better than others, those can all be really helpful for the training and learning process. So ready, Bodie, here. Oh my gosh, chew them. Good job. So if, let's say, for example, Mr. B at any point is really struggling with something, I know we've dived into how adolescence and, different changes from puppyhood to teenager to eventually adult will also create different feels or abilities when it comes to their learning and their retention. Nice. But just like with us, if we don't feel comfortable, then it's very hard to learn or retain information because we're not really in the mode of working those skills. We're more in the trying to survive or stay safe mode. So whenever we're in maybe the F zone, which again could be your flight, fidget, fawn, freeze, and fight, those ones again tend to come out when you're feeling under pressure and overwhelmed and spooky things or hard things might be going on from the pup's perspective. So we might not think that the trash barrel is a big deal, but if our dog is scared of the trash barrel, it'd be one of those things we want to work on at the pup's rate. Ready? Oh, smart man. So even if I wasn't able to necessarily throw in my cue, not the end of the world. He did technically come when called. I just didn't get to say my slogan. If you really didn't want him to move and you wanted to really tweak this a little bit harder for him, is you could try saying different words, but then the only time you reinforce him technically would have been for when you told him his slogan for recall. So sometimes you might be, saying like chicken pox, or you might go banana split, and then you might go Bodie here, and then you can work it where it's just the slogan. Good boy. But if, let's say, he was really confused with that, I'd make sure to really help understand the keyword for what you were looking for, and then throw in novel words that should have no association. And then that way you can really make sure he's understanding the word itself for the exercise. So we might, again, get a lovely down from this answer. He's like, but I'm really so hungry. Good job. We're going to tell him to wait. Yeah, get cozy. There you go. Little side hip is always helpful. It means he's more relaxed and more comfortable. So I'm just going to make a couple little distractions. So not too shabby. So I'm just going to see if I can go a little bit more on this side. So if this was too hard, I'm going to see if I can help him again. We'll go back into that down. And now I'm going to tell him to wait. So if maybe, let's say, going behind his back is a little bit more challenging, I'm going to make it a little easier. I'm just going to go a little bit in front of him instead so he can still see me and not feel quite as like he's getting left behind. Bodie, here. Yes. So remember that we don't, and again, you guys have been doing great with him, so don't worry, but we don't want to scold our puppies for when they make mistakes, because if, let's say, for example, they don't understand why certain things are beneficial at one point and not at others, it's just going to either confuse them or get them more anxious. So because if you're kind of always wondering what the heck the weird person on the other end wants, it can be stressful thinking that at times you're going to be correct and have something nice happen, and then being wrong from our perspective and have something not so nice happen for him. So again, we're going to get that little sit again. Good job. He's like, I'm exhausted. We'll go into that little down. And then I tell him again to wait, and we'll try again with those little weight exercises. So, but thinking about your babe's behavior is right or wrong or good or bad does kind of set us up to think about correcting things we don't like, when instead think, if I don't love what he's doing, what's the meaning or the reason behind the behavior? And then how could I help him choose something that we might find more appropriate or better for him too, for safety reasons or behavioral or whatever. Nice. Bodie, here. I know our little friends are singing. They want to come out and do some more WrestleMania. At least the men. The men are the wild critters in class. Ready? So maybe we'll do a couple little find it's just to get him up and wiggling, give him a little breather from being stationary. Ready? We'll do another little find it. He's doing a very nice job. So maybe we'll do one more gorgeous little wait, and then we'll give him a little breather. Ready? We'll have him do a little sit. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Or tell him to, you want to do a down first? Ready? Down. He's like, my brain's slightly melted. We're going to try. Ready? Down. And that's very nice. We're going to tell him again to wait. He's like, hold up, my brain melted. You can get comfortable if you want to do your sideways down. Ready? Down. Thank you. And again, I was just not feeding him. I want him to go ahead and rock the behavior and then do the full sequence. So again, I'm going to tell him to wait. He's like, nope, brain melted. You're very eager today. It's good. I'm glad he's got some pep to him. Ready? Down. He says he really likes those snacks you got him. You got to go into the floor. Okay, thank you. Wait. So as I mentioned earlier, if let's say your puppy keeps breaking, maybe he's kind of a little confused. Maybe he's a little interested in the snacks. These are some new goodies that you got him. So maybe he is a little bit eager beaver for these new bonus bits. Ready? Down. So we're going to try though again. So you'll see that when my puppy keeps failing, I'm not getting mean. I'm not getting agitated. I'm not like scolding him for making a mistake. He's just not going to get a reinforcement or the thing that I was hoping until we kind of are in the right element or the right sort of dynamic. So I'm going to tell him to wait. And now I'm going to go Bodie here. And then I can feed him for those lovely moments. So you don't always have to end on a good note. Like if let's say he heard a loud noise or he was distracted and something scared him, and that's the reason why he keeps getting up, then I wouldn't keep forcing like, no, down, stay, or whatever you're working on. Because then maybe the negative spooky thing is now the bringer of working these skills, and therefore now spooky equals I'm going to feel trapped. So, oh, you didn't see where it went? Here, I'll help you. Ready, Bodie? Go find it there. Good job. So if when you're practicing weights and he's really struggling, gauge the environment like we've normally discussed. Make sure that we're working steps in his ability and his comfort range. And maybe there's a certain day, maybe he's having a growth spurt. Maybe he's feeling sore. So there will be times where your babe's abilities may be very different from day to day, and that's normal. Ready? We'll do a little find it. We'll call it a little day for Mr. B, and we'll rotate through a few other little fun skills in just a second. We'll bring him out for a little potty break too, just in case.